So I think my favorite comment that I saw under my videos yesterday was about this sticker right here. Somebody saw it and commented, "Upside down triangle, Illuminati confirmed." People say the darndest things. This sticker is actually from Nassim Harameyn's work. If you're familiar with him, highly suggest for some real science. And also one more thing before we move on, I just want to plug my socials in here. Many of you are familiar with me on Twitter. I'm pretty prolific there, and also on Facebook, but I've also been getting into Instagram a little bit more lately. So I'm going to go ahead and link all of those shamelessly down below. And that's pretty much that. Let's get started. All right, so we're going to begin with Q's posts because there's been a couple of them, but we're going to start actually with the photos from yesterday to give a little bit more clarity on them. In regards to the JetBlue airliner, some people were noticing that JetBlue recently had an ad campaign where they said they were planning to deliver fresh New York City pizzas to Los Angeles. Now, if you're familiar with what the term pizza means, especially symbolically in elite political circles, this is really weird to you. Right? So maybe these pictures are some kind of message being sent about the human trafficking issue, and then a little more clarity on the photos of Apple stores and trucks and whatnot. This photo here is from Hong Kong, and also I've seen some people speculating that it's possible that Apple is switching sides, if you will, that they are now on board with the current political administration, with the white hats, to take down the deep state and bad actors. So that could very well be a possibility. We'll see how that all pans out. We'll see what news stories come out by way of Apple in the coming weeks. But now we'll get on to what happened today. So Q, in these posts right here, trip code update, you can see that Q's trip code changed from this stringer thing to this stringer thing, trip confirmed. If you don't peruse the actual 8chan boards, don't worry about it. We got this covered. But if you do, just letting you know that Q has a new trip code. And then Q posts this photo right here of a cannon going off, and then these stringers saying future comms, pre-stage, and then different 3 letters in each line: pre-stage ELE, pre-stage sec, pre-stage DIR, pre-stage cap on ready. So first to note about this, pre-stage, so of course the stage has been said to be being set for a few weeks now. Stage being set. This could mean that the pre-stage, we're waiting for the lights to turn on the stage, if you will. So we're in the pre-moments to that. And as for these 3 letters right here, I'm not sure what each of those means. Everybody is putting their own guesses out there. ELE, that could mean election, SEC secretary, secretary of something. DIR, director of something. And cap, Capitol Hill. Maybe these could be, particular names of individuals. Who knows? But we'll see how that pans out. And also in regards to this picture, look at the name of it, justice.jpg. Well, remember, just a few days ago, and I'm going to reference this post on 8chan right here, Q on the 29th of April said the next phase will bring justice. Well, now that's justice. I think that's letting us know that very soon things will be happening. And then last post right here, again, justice.png, this time probably a PNG because it's a screen capture of Trump's tweet here. And the tweet says, a rigged system. They don't want to turn over documents to Congress. What are they afraid of? Why so much redacting? Why such unequal justice? At some point, I'll have no choice but to use the powers granted to the presidency and get involved. Obviously, if things aren't going anywhere, the president can step in. Q has been telling us to follow the executive orders, and I think this is a public message that that's going to have to be the case, that the president's going to have to step in. Executive orders, things like that are going to have to be signed, and they already have been, so good news. Justice is coming. Another couple confirmations, some interesting Q-isms being thrown out there by public officials. This one by Trump. So Trump, in a speech to the NRA today, during his speech, he said, boom, very specifically and multiple times. So here is a Q-ism, a confirmation being thrown out there. He's speaking to you. Speaking to you and me right there with those words. And then also we had Admiral Mike Rogers, the now former NSA director, hand over the baton to Lieutenant General Nakasone, if I'm saying that right, Nakasone. He is now the head of the NSA and U.S. Cyber Command. And at the very end of Admiral Rogers' speech today, he said Godspeed. That was the very last word that he said before his speech ended, and he walked off stage. There we go. Another Qism right there. Another confirmation. And now for the April update to the sealed indictments. I didn't throw this in yesterday's video. I totally spaced it, actually. But it'll be here in this one. And we now have 4,393 new, we'll call them sealed records. I like sealed records better than sealed indictments. About 4,400 new sealed records in the month of April. New count, and the official number now of all the sealed indictments or sealed records entered from October 30th to April 30th. So in 6 months, we have near 29,000. The exact number being 28,937. Remember, how many are normal? About 1,000 per year. So in 6 months, we have near 29,000. Of course, this article coming out today, more arrests expected in sex cult case against Smallville actress. So what are those indictments going to be for? The big players. One of them that was unsealed was, of course, Allison Mack. More arrests expected in that case. I'm sure that'll be some of the sealed indictments. And then we have many, many, many more. A lot of people are, of course, impatient, but just keep this in mind. The higher that indictment count gets, those sealed records, the more people are going to get arrested and prosecuted. We don't want to jump the gun, do we? Because then this whole operation might falter. So, hey, I'm okay waiting a little bit longer if all the T's are going to be crossed and I's are going to be dotted. If there's going to be no chance for the deep state to escape this. I'm okay waiting and having that indictment count raised, because if you think of every industry there is, financial, pharmaceutical, aerospace, political circles, I mean, how many corrupt people are out there that deserve an indictment? I'm sure a lot, okay? So I wouldn't even be surprised if this number went far higher than just 30,000, but that's good news. And that'll also give us more time to help awaken the public, help get them prepared for when this stuff is going to hit. Right? So look at it positively. I know we can get impatient. I know we can say, I want to rest now. But look at the positives. More slop gets cleaned up. More bad actors get cleaned up. We get more time to awaken people. It all goes smoother. Okay? And also, another piece of prosecution in regards to human trafficking. We had a former U.S. district judge charged in Kentucky after 28 felonies. Holy crap. 22 victims. This guy guilty of human trafficking. I don't think that's going to be the very last time we're going to hear someone get charged for human trafficking soon, right? And then also John McCain now saying he doesn't know how much longer he's going to be here. And I think he's going to use his brain cancer excuse to try to run away, try to bow out of politics. Because why? Well, I'm sure one of those sealed indictments, if not many of them, have his name on it right there, Mr. No Name John McCain. And like I was mentioning, we need a little bit more time. We need a little bit more time to make sure this whole process goes smoothly and to awaken the populace. And that's most likely why the Inspector General's report is now going to be postponed. It was supposed to come out on May 15th in just a couple weeks, but now it's going to be postponed amid new leads in Clinton case review. You got to understand how... May 8th, not 15th, but it's still going to be rescheduled. But you got to understand how deep, how truly deep all of this goes. And I was thinking earlier today, because you think of all the, good people that get money and get into positions of influence and power. They lead normal lives. They sit on that money, maybe buy some nice things for themselves, but they don't let it get to them. But of course, when sick people get into positions of power, which most often is what happens, it gets to them and they start investing that money and that wealth in sick shit, and it gets more into their head, more into their ego, and they keep doing it, and it just gets more and more and more. So you think about that and how many decades or centuries, or if not longer than that, that's been going on, the sick people with wealth have amassed a whole just corrupt web of, infiltration and power and influence and whatnot. So it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while to clean all that up. Be patient, guys. And then next piece of news, the U.S. military banning ZTE phones because they were tracking military personnel. I don't think this is random. Don't think it's a coincidence. This actually reminds me of that Strava disclosure a few months ago. Remember that? It was the fitness tracking app that disclosed some secret bases and things like that. That kind of made its way out to the public. It was like a soft disclosure there, kind of prepping us. So I think this goes along the lines of that. And the fact that military personnel are tracked with their phones, I think this goes a whole lot deeper in how the bad actors are using mobile devices to get intel on people to, blackmail them and find things out and whatnot. So I don't think we're going to hear the end of that. And also, spy agency NSA triples collection of U.S. phone records. Official report. So in 2017, the NSA collected more than 500 million phone records, which is triple of what they gathered in 2016. Now, this isn't the most they've ever gathered. They used to gather a lot before the Snowden disclosures in 2013, but since then, of course, the NSA being in the spotlight, their activities dwindled a little bit, but now, boom, big jump. Why is there a big jump? Well, you ask yourself what's going on in 2017 now. A lot of activations of white hats and alliance members trying to take down bad actors. We also heard of, Admiral Mike Rogers handing over a bunch of NSA databases to President Trump and to the white hats. So when looking at this, a lot of people are going, oh, of course they're spying on American people, yada, yada. Well, another angle at that is that maybe the NSA was tripling their phone record collection because they're trying to get intel on the deep state, on the bad people out there. Definite possibility, so keep that one in mind. Don't think this is, again, nothing's a coincidence. Not one that this came out at this very time. And then last couple things I want to share with you guys here. The Daily Dot. So another discrediting piece coming out by the Daily Dot, coming out by this same author, Mike Rothschild, same author that actually wrote the QAnon piece on, is actually the piece on the sealed indictments, and I believe one on QAnon. So it's like this guy is their go-to for the discrediting stories. He claims to not be of the Rothschild bloodline, but not sure how true that is. He has the last name. But anyway, what is the dead doctor's conspiracy theory, he says. And he's just going on about the quote, dead doctor's conspiracy theory seems to resurface at any time someone even vaguely related to alt medicine or medical research dies, no matter the circumstances and no matter the person's actual links to alternative medicine. That's bullshit if I've ever read bullshit, because pretty much any of these dead doctors that die, they're particularly pinpointed because of the mysteriousness around their deaths. This all started about 2.5 years ago by Dr. Jeff Bradstreet, and there's been many instances. I mean, I've been following this. We've had doctors commit suicide when they've been in perfect mental health, found hanging in their garage. Her name was Dr. Ann Barak. We had a couple. It was a man and a wife who was pushed out of a New York skyscraper. There was a typed suicide note left in their apartment. Typed, right? And it was claimed in the media that they fell to their deaths because they couldn't afford their health care bills. The fuck? Not only that, we've had doctors found in rivers, drowned. We've had doctors go on vacation for a weekend and found missing. Then they get found in, bushes way away from home in their vacation spot. Just so many mysterious deaths. None of these are, the circumstances are what makes them odd and why this is gaining traction. Anti-GMO mosquito activist dies in swimming pool. It was a 4-foot swimming pool, and she was a great swimmer. Again, mysterious circumstances. So, and right here, I'm at least glad he wrote about Erin Elizabeth. Erin Elizabeth is the one who's been talking about the dead doctors for years now. Great great human being tracking it. And of course, Mr. Mike Rothschild here is just trying to shit all over the issue. I really hope he's just dumb, because if he's actually complicit in the lie, that's just evil. That's just terrible. So, hey man, you can always change your mind, right? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong in anybody changing their minds. But if you purposefully lie, Anyway, very last thing here. Apparently, it's National Space Day. I didn't even know it was National Space Day. NASA successfully tested a tiny nuclear reactor to unlock space exploration. And apparently, they're claiming that to explore space beyond the International Space Station, it's going to require an immense amount of energy. And that energy, according to NASA, is going to have to come from nuclear reactors. Oh, man. Anytime I see something from NASA, I just facepalm. I facepalm so hard, slap myself. NASA is a total smokescreen, total front to conceal the truth about the technologies that truly exist in the military-industrial complex and various corporate programs and whatnot. And it does not involve nuclear, anything nuclear. Nuclear is old school, man. We don't need that bunk. All you need is electricity. With simply electricity, you can unlock the secrets to anti-gravity propulsion, free energy systems, the zero-point energy creation systems that would get us far past the International Space Station, that have already gotten us past the International Space Station. So, I can rant on that for ages, you know me. So it's just nonsense. NASA, never a straight answer. And it's interesting. Every time I travel, I see a NASA symbol. That's like a common synchronicity in my life. I'll see it in airports all the time. People just wearing NASA shirts. So I have it's a thing within me where I need to divulge the truth. And NASA does not, unfortunately, give us the truth. But a lot of people working for NASA, very smart individuals, just honestly unaware. That goes to show you that you can have all the PhDs and all the wonderful pieces of paper from colleges and universities that you want, but that doesn't mean that you're intelligent. It doesn't mean you have all the knowledge in the world, does it? There's a lot of stuff they don't tell us at university. So in fact, if you go to university, you might even be more lost than people who haven't gone. Something interesting to think about. Something I think a lot of people need to, check their egos with. But anyway, that's all for this one, guys. Went through everything. Q, indictment count, Space Day, NSA stuff. There you go.